adolescents in Kenya represent a huge proportion of us. 20%, that means if you take all Kenyans somewhere, you take 5 Kenyans, one is between the age of 15 to 24. That's a huge number. So the objective of all my presentation today is to assess the importance given to adolescent girls and young women in the Global Fund investment for the next period. So the Global Fund, literally, the way it funds countries is to say, during the next 3 years, here's the money we're going to give you. What do you want to spend your money on? Tell us. Then, as a country, we send a proposal. They will read it, discuss it with us, and say, okay, here's your money. You go and do with it as you wish, as we have agreed. So what we ask them that we're going to put the money in, that's what they're probably going to fund. So it's important that we know, right? Do I make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So what we did is to look at what us, as Kenyans, we have asked for, and where we decide to put the money. And adolescent girls in anything in our priorities, basically. So far, especially for HIV, this is 593 million, but that is from 2002. The new money that we're asking for, that's going to be used from 2018 to 2020, that's 250 million. That's what we ask specifically for HIV/TB. So if we were asking for 250 million, where are we going to spend that money? And the question we're asking is, are adolescent girls anywhere in that? Where are we spending that money? We had asked and we had decided that we're going to provide 9,000 young women in Turkana County with cash transfer and dignity kits, which includes menstrual pads and so on. Now, as a country, we have also decided that we're going to put some money into PrEP and we're going to focus on adolescents as well. Now, other than that, the Global Fund has also this fund that is called Hair Fund, and I'm just saying that specifically for the young people in here. They have this 500,000 available through this organization called YANASO that is supposed to pay for young people's meaningful engagement with policy processes, anything related to the Global Fund. If you're a young person and you are part of an organization and you want to be part of the policy process and so on in your country, specifically related to the Global Fund, you can apply for the funding and they would give you, and that will help you now pay for or participate in those things. So that's an extra money that I'm just trying to let the young people here know about, so that if they are interested, they can apply. This money runs all the way till the end of 2018, so you still have 6 months to go. So my general conclusion is that there might be some pot of money specifically for the adolescent girl and young women that we need to know about it, and such investment is actually considered important as a country for us, so that we spend more trying to control this epidemic. Thank you.
As healthcare providers, many times when we are doing issues or we are doing things, we point at others. When do we point at ourselves? Why? Because we are also human. And remember, we've also been taught that we have methods of preventing ourselves from unwanted pregnancy. We also have methods of preventing ourselves from HIV. But the bad and unique thing about the HPV that causes the cervical cancer is that it is also found in places where the condom cannot reach. So as we talk about adolescents again, remember we have been told about the early sexual debut. Remember HPV that causes cervical cancer is also sexually transmitted. So as this child gets involved in unwanted or in an unprotected sex, getting exposed to the other STIs, this child has also a possibility of getting exposed to HPV that causes cervical cancer. Remember, cervical cancer also does not show up, or the signs and symptoms are not immediate. They grow slowly. They could be between 10 to 15 years. When we look at what is is happening globally. We find that the screening services for cervical cancer globally in the developed countries is quite high at 93.6, while in us, in our place, in the sub-Saharan Africa, where all of us have, is as low as 44.7. What does that mean? Over 60% of us are not utilizing cervical cancer screening, including all the healthcare workers in the hospitals, doctors, clinical officers, nurses, public health technologies, pharmacists, medical records, all the healthcare service providers. The females. Why the females? Because the female is the only one with a cervix. The man does not have a cervix. So I wanted to look at the people who really directly need this service and find out whether they have actually taken care of themselves. We are saying that cervical cancer screening services is among the older generation than the younger generation. We are also finding that, I also found that the facilities, all the facilities that were assessed during that time had experienced frequent stockouts of commodities. We need more focus on our adolescents and our youth to involve them as we do these other things, as we prevent them from unwanted pregnancy. Let us also do the early screening of cervical cancer so that we save as many youth and as many adolescents as we possibly can. It will be no good if we only protect them from unwanted pregnancy and they die of cervical cancer. So we need to encourage also the healthcare workers, because they could be the greatest barriers to the utilization of the serum if they themselves are not utilizing the services. And therefore, the health facility management should be able to improve screening programs for everyone, including themselves. Thank you.
Hi all. I'm sorry, being the last presenter almost, I think. Second last, I think. Okay, it's been a long day, we're all tired. I'll try to be as fast and as precise as possible. What you have in the program is a little different from what I'm going to present. It's only an itsy bitsy bit of what I actually want to present. Because in the abstract you have the study that I did here in Eldoret, but I just wanted for you guys to have a take-home message, and because we are such a widespread people from all over Kenya, I need something that you'll be able to take to your counties and actually implement. Sawa. As you've heard, my name is Anissa. I'm a resident at Moi University doing obstetrics and gynecology. I'm in my 4th year now, so hopefully good things will happen in the next few months. So I'm talking about adolescents and their involvement in cervical cancer prevention in low and middle income countries such as Kenya. So in terms of adolescents, this is a network for adolescents. What are the priorities that we need to address where they're concerned? Should they be involved in the conversation for cervical cancer? And the big answer is yes. And some of the priorities we need to look at is, number one, we need to understand the basic epidemiology of HPV infection, its persistence, the cancer potential in particular individuals in regions and stuff like that. For adolescents specifically, we want to look at their biology, their physiology. We find that for the pre-adolescents, anatomically, they're literally limited in the fact that the endocervix, which is the center of cervical cancer infection, is actually located in the exterior area in the vaginal portion, which makes it very, very susceptible to any from HIV, HPV infection, all the STIs, and with the high turnover cells that we have in this particular region, that means these adolescents are very susceptible to HPV. I was actually surprised there was someone in government who said cervical cancer is not an issue in this country, and that really scared me, because I'm like, if our government officials do not find any reason to bring this vaccine to our country, then we have failed as medical professionals. We have not informed them, which is not the best thing. Of course, there are many issues about the vaccine debate. I think some of you have heard of it. People are saying, no, this vaccine is not good, there's mortality associated with it, which are all lies, but we need to debunk these myths. As medical professionals, we need to have the information that we need to be able to tell others so that they can avoid having this kind of situation. If we are diagnosing people, we have medication, why do we still have cervical cancer increasing? I think that is something I leave for you to ponder, because right now in sub-Saharan Africa we have about 20 million people, adults and children, who are living with HIV. And this was circulating in social media recently, that the Kenyan youth rank third in new HIV cases in East and Central Africa. Why is that? What are we doing wrong? When you go back to your facilities, what are you going to tell these adolescents? How are you going to educate them? Are you going to get them tested? Are you going to advise them to have safe sex? One thing I will tell you, if you tell them to have safe sex and use condoms, HPV, it will not help, because HPV will pass through the condom, so that's a problem. But at least they can protect themselves against HIV, they can protect themselves against chlamydia, gonorrhea, and other things. Alright? So that the ball is in your court. So when an adolescent comes to you, if they're sexually active, we have many of them who are, always tell them, yeah, you can also get contraceptives, and you can also get screened for cervical cancer. Let's not forget that. And we need to reduce new and treat the current HIV infections. Of course, there's this vision 2020 of having 90 people diagnosed, 90 people on treatment, and 90 reduction of the viral load. So are we working towards that? Are we achieving that so far? So I hope that's something also when you go to your facilities, you'll be able to address. There are very many people who are involved in the project that I was doing, and I really thank them. I would ask for questions, but I think I'll be jumping the gun.
Thank you very much. That's another powerful presentation. I think now the country is actually focusing itself on cancer screening, not even the country, the region, on cervical cancer screening. And it's the high time we started integrating.
We are going to do a presentation on the use of football as a tool among girls and young women to address challenges in adolescent maturation. In 2017, 77 cases of teenage pregnancies were reported in Kilifi, 44 cases of child marriage, and 153 cases of defilement. County, that is according to the County Director of Education. 6% of 288 sexual offences reported in 2017 were teenage pregnancies. Child-to-child sexual offences added up to 80% of cases reported. So we can be able to understand that there are serious issues that actually go on in that area. Adolescent sexual reproductive health and rights that still goes on during the football activities that are run. And then we have education, like I have said, there is high illiteracy levels. We have a program that targets girls, whereby we have a scholarship for the girls that cannot be able to pay their education. That is also for both high school and colleges, because we have low transition rates. So we are trying to curb that by having that a scholarship program for the girls. So it's not 100%, there's a percentage that the parents pay and the percentage that MTGs pays. And then we have livelihoods that targets the girls who are out of school, which is in terms of saving groups, they're the ones who are youth peer providers. We have been able to reach more than 9,000 girls with RHN messages during the football activities. And like we said, we try to develop leadership in these girls so that they take the role of advocate for speaking for themselves and for other girls, so that it is normally done by their fellow players. And then we have religious beliefs and traditions, mostly in Kwale. They are still there. We are trying to look into how we can be able to change what has been for us to create a safe space for our girls. And then the lessons is that the use of peer-to-peer approach increases uptake of services among youths, and that is both in HTS and family planning. Thank you.
I am Teresia Jerry, a member of the Youth Youth Advisory Council of Nairobi, and it happens that I'm the only teenager in this room. I'll be going through my abstract, which is on sexual reproductive health among youth and adolescents, on teenage pregnancy and access to information. And these are lessons learned from the Youth Advisory Council of Nairobi to increase awareness on effects and impacts of early teenage pregnancy in the community. I'll give you something. I once took my friend, she's 19 years old. She was 19 years old by then. And she was having sex with a boyfriend, of which the boyfriend said, since you're my girlfriend, I don't want us to use condom. Okay? I want us to be having unprotected sex since you're my girlfriend. I trust you, you trust me. For her, the only risk that she feared was getting pregnant. So she told me, take me to a health facility, I go and acquire family planning services. So when we went to the health facility, the response that we got was not appetizing. When we went there, the health provider asked us, how old are you? She replied she was 19 years old. The health provider chased us out of the health facility, literally chasing away. And what she said was, after saying she was 19 years old, she told us family planning method is only for married couples, not us teenagers. How do we do this? That we ensure that there is follow-up and access. We have our online, we have our hotline, as you can see. We have a one-to-one. This is a free. All of you have your mobile phones, isn't it? You want to confirm on this. Take out your phone, SMS one-to-one, ask any SRH question, GBV question, and any HIV question. Also, we have a toll-free call line, 1190. Just call at any time. You'll have our specialized consultant on the other side who will answer to all your questions. Also, we have our online platforms, of which we say you want media platforms where they can get access to health questions on SRH, HIV, and GBV, isn't it? You can also log on into our platform at our online platform at www.1to1kenya.org, and you'll find everything there. For example, all of you heard about the If You Care Wazazi hashtag, isn't it? What was it all about? It was about peer pressure. Nowadays, our youth, they are more driven by taking photos. But which kind of photos are they taking? Which kind of photos are they taking? Do you want even to look at them? Have you ever gone to your children's Facebook, Instagram walls and see the kind of pictures they post? They are not appealing to your eyes. Trust me, they are not appealing. What is my conclusion? Adolescent and young people prefer digital media and platforms to access information for healthcare referrals. And that's why we have our online platform. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp, of which we get a lot of questions about SRH, GBV, and HIV. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Rita Nindo. I'm a member of Youth Advisory Council Nairobi, and my title is Improving Access of Sexual Reproductive Health Service for Adolescents and Youth. It is a case study that was conducted in collaboration, courtesy of youth peer providers. Sexual reproductive health is a very important component because, come to think of it, according to the national guidance of provision of youth-friendly services, 36% of the people, of the person 15 to 24 are youth. But then, these people are sexually active. But these people can't access these services, sexual reproductive services. Why can they access these services? It's because there are no youth-friendly services, and they don't have information on these stuff. We also had Giannique concert, and in Giannique concert, there were youth and adolescents are normally talented in issues of arts, dance, poems, DJs. So these people would come and present whatever they had in things of sexual reproductive and things of sexual reproductive health were encouraged. We also had monthly community caucuses and dialogues. And on this, one of the biggest achievements was the reaching out of Muslim communities. Because we had YPPs in their respective villages, we also had YPPs who are Muslims. These YPPs who are Muslims, they could easily reach their fellow Muslim. In the community caucuses and dialogues, we could discuss the emerging issues. And one of the emerging issues is that most Muslims' their husbands could not accept them to use contraceptives. Also, one of the emerging issues was, I don't know if you've heard of this new illegal pill, China pill. Because most of the clients we had, they were going to that pill. And these are the things we were discussing during our community caucuses and dialogues. We are doing a good job when we come here because we enable networking, and I would encourage, if you're doing the same thing or you're doing things that are related, you can work together so that we can improve the services that we are offering. After all, the goal of the program is to empower young youths and adolescents. So that is what we need to improve on that. Another thing is, young people are willing to access sexual reproductive health rights services if they are provided with correct information. Another thing is LVCT Health 1190 toll-free hotline. We have also antigen. We also have antigen. Let's work together to benefit these youths. We have these free hotline numbers, 1190. 1190, I hope anyone here, if you have a sister, if you have a friend, if you have anyone younger, kindly just inform them of whatever we have learned here.
So my question goes to the presenter on moving the goalposts. Could you kindly elaborate on how you've been engaging the girls to make the reusable sanitary pads and what kind of materials you've been using for the same? Thank you.
The question goes to the last presenter who said that YPPs restrict contraceptives. Can you be specific? Because as we know, I'm a YPP. I know as my work that is to create awareness, to create demand by giving information to the community so that I refer. So which kind of contraceptives? Because you are not providers, you are peer providers of information.
My question goes to Agnes Zioka, Nairobi County, on cancer screening and healthcare workers. Would you mind telling us reasons why there is no uptake of cervical cancer screening among healthcare workers?
Question and some compliment to Jerry. You have done good. But my worry is you had a very nice t-shirt that you ought to have put on so that in that putting on, you can pass the information before you come to present. So my advice would be always put on, be proud of what you are doing, and let the others learn from that. Thank you.
And my question, or rather comment, will go to Ruth. I'm glad you talked about condoms, because condoms are the only contraceptives that offer dual protection. They prevent pregnancies and they also prevent infection against STIs, including HIV. But I'm curious to know if, while we're talking to the youth and the adolescents concerned in the areas you cover, how do you usually describe to them or tell them how to use the condoms? Because if you don't use the condoms correctly and consistently, then you won't achieve your objective.
Our male counterparts, remember, if this man has no cervix, has a wife or a partner who has a cervix, and they both need to be protected. So I think those are among others that we could put in place strategies to increase utilization. There was also another question about why there are no updates on healthcare workers screening in Nairobi. And I would like to respond to this. That is not just in Nairobi. In fact, in Kenya, there are no RHN, that's a gap. People who are doing research can be able maybe to do that because it's not there, it's not recorded. And when you saw the prevalence of the screening services, still at 3.2, it is a worrying trend. Thank you.
I'll respond to the questions that were directed to me. I'll start by Aoko. You asked how do we engage the girls to make the materials that they use in making sanitary towels. We encourage them to use locally available materials, for example, the lasers that are in the house, and any other materials, including the old umbrella, which can be able to, it cannot leak. So those are commonly available materials that a girl can find in a household, because we don't encourage them to go and buy because they don't have the money. And somebody else asked, at what stage do we engage them to give the comprehensive sexuality education? We do so during the league feeds. We encourage them to come earlier, so that before doing the tournament or playing football, we have the session on their education. So it's education first and then they play football. Okay, and then do we have monitoring tools for the girls that we refer? Yes, we do, because the girls who actually do the referrals are the YPPs. We have tools that they do give us, and then we take the same data to the county. So through because we refer them to specific health centers. Our YPPs are attached to a health center, so they take that information to the health center, and then also as we have our data. So at the end of the day, we can be able to account who was referred from where, so we have all that information. And then at what stage do we involve parents on allowing girls to make decisions? Bearing in mind that every girl, as long as you're less than 18 years, there has to be a consent. That is what we have been talking about, the legal background. So we involve parents of our girls from the word go. Even before they register to be MTG girls or any activity that they involve in, the parent has to consent. I hope that's answered. And then we also have community dialogues. So before we engage, we normally give information to our parents through community dialogues. We have meetings for parents, for stakeholders, and all others. So at the end of the day, the parent has information. And before a girl comes to an activity, the parent also has to give a consent. Thank you.
I would want to address the issue of how did YPPs distribute contraceptives. Okay, we used to distribute contraceptives like pills, daily pills, and also condoms. How did we implement that? First, we could go to places where the boys, for example, in slum areas, these bad boys tend to sit at some point. So we could go to those places and then give them the contraceptives. And also because YPPs were residents of Korogosho, the adolescents and youths could easily go to them and ask for services. So that's it. Another thing is that we use the power of referrals and linkages, whereby if an adolescent wasn't comfortable with you, we could refer to other institutions. We could refer things like implants and depots. Yeah. And then another question was about packaging of information on 1190. How are we packaging the information? When you call 1190, a professional counselor will reach you, you'll communicate with a professional counselor, and then the counselor will provide you with correct information on sexual reproductive health. If, for example, you need services, this counselor will link you and do follow-up on whatever you have asked about. And then someone asked how we used to take our our information, the monitoring tools. Each client had an uptake tool. So this made it easy for us to follow up on each and every client. And this was autonomous, because once you have a client and you're taking, for example, you have a sheet and you're writing everything the client is doing, and the client, for example, is an adolescent, the client is 17 years and you're writing, for example, oh, this one has taken this, the client will run away. So what we used to do, as a YPP, you just record your recordings about the client, and then you just record it to the uptake tool, so that the client will come back and seek services again. It was very confidential.
On the teenagers, I say that, like on the ifikia wazazi, teenagers have the right, and they have the right over the media, whether to use it positively or negatively. And that's why we are using our social media platform to make it their own initiative, to follow us on our media platform in order for them to get correct information on SRH, GBV, also on HIV. And the one who asked me about short video clips, actually, if you log onto our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, you can find short clips demonstrating on self-test kits on HIV. We have short videos about demonstration on use of condom. We have a lot of demonstration and short video clips on our social media. Just log on and you'll see them. And someone asked about partnership. Actually, us as the Youth Advisory Committee of Nairobi, we are ready for partnership, so that we can be able to go down to the roots and inform and educate our youth and empower them about all SRH, GBV, and HIV.
First of all, we use models. Sorry, I couldn't carry the models to demonstrate to you, but most of the time we have the penile model and the vaginal model. So for the male condoms, we use the penile model, so we demonstrate to them. And as I had said earlier, the key thing in ensuring that the condom use are effective is to check on the expiry date. So we tell them to check on the expiry date, and then you open in the serrated part, and then after that, sorry, you can't demonstrate, but you then insert on the penile model. Also on the for the female condom, we use also the vaginal model to teach them. So also on the question directed to me about how accessible are condoms at our youth center, we have the booths where someone cannot see you, so you can go, and I think most of you who were in college, you could see the booths where you go and remove the condoms. And they are placed at strategic places, not everywhere where people see you. And also youth champions have the condoms, so that for those people who are not able to buy them or able to get them at the booth because of fear, they are able to get them from the champions. Thank you.
If you find any teenager who is a girl coming to a health facility asking for contraceptive, please don't be rude. Offer the contraceptive. Okay? My parting short slogan will be, let girls be girls, not young mothers.
My parting shot will be, once youth have been empowered, youth can. Thank you.
We are coming to an end of today's program. I would urge, if any one of you still has a question that you would wish to have addressed, kindly put it down on a paper and you can share with me or with Eric or any RHN staff member.